Okay. Hi, guys. So, I finally made it. I'm Pratik Solanki. People know me as Dragu and Dragonix in the community. And I'm co-founder of the Webex Studios. And at Webex, we do mostly like work on commercials and movies and short films. And we do lots of personal projects. So it's pretty fun. And we guys are connected with Blender from like from 2008. And that was the time when 2.49 was around. And everybody used to love those soft colors and horizontal layout. So, and since then, we are using Blender internal. So it was yes, OK. So it's playing a major part in our pipeline. We have done many projects with it. We are using it daily. And why we are using Blender internal? Because mostly client needs like the job to be done by next evening or like in 2 to 3 days. And that's simply not possible with any other renderer. So that's the best option left. So, and it's not feasible for us to like switch to any other renderer for time being to complete the job. So that's why we are using Blender internal in our like most of the pipeline. And it's a little difficult to get a better result in Blender internal. But once you get to know how to do that, this software will become unstoppable. So that's the thing. So from last couple of weeks, we have been working on this short film called Pukka. And it was totally done in Eevee. So we are trying to explore new ways to like how to get fast renders and how to get quick outputs. So for that, we have made this little short film. And I'm going to share with you some of the experience that we had during the production time of this movie. So, but before that, 1 year ago, we have made this movie called Let's Save Bobby. It was upon a tiger conservation topic, and it's mainly to spread awareness among the children. So that initiative was taken by Dr. Vilas Padye, who is an awesome director, and he has very clear vision what he wants to show in his movie. So he guided us on every step of the production, and that was totally great. So this film was entirely done in Blender internal, and for now I can't show you the entire movie, but if you have missed it on yesterday offline streaming, then I have a 2 minutes of clip. So let's have a look.
They call me Little Bobby.
Chinky, chinky, chubby.
I leap and climb and run around the forest. It's my playground. I jump and thump and scare the birds, but too young for buffalo herds. When they come racing down, I hide behind the shrubby.
Chinky, chinky, chubby. Chinky, chinky, chubby.
I am a tiger cubby.
Chinky, chinky, chubby.
Everyone will look and sigh and say, that's so cool. The rivers and the hills, the grasses and the meadows. I will roam freely and rest in the shadows and take a long dip in nature's cool tubby.
Trinky, trinky, chubby. Trinky, trinky, chubby.
I am a tiger cubby.
Trinky, trinky, chubby.
So, this was rendered entirely in Blender internal, and render time was around 20 to 30 minutes for each frame, and that was quite a bit for Blender internal. And everybody expect like 5 seconds to 20 seconds around that, but like this one is too much for us. So Render Street was like a lifesaver for us. Entire film was rendered on Render Street, and it's an open source movie. So after it gets released, we're going to provide all the files somewhere on the cloud, and those are only for learning purpose. So I can definitely say that for small studios like us, Render Street is most affordable solutions, and it has very hassle-free workflow. So big thanks to Marius. I don't know if you're, oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah. So we wanted to make more movies like this, but the thing is like those render time were not feasible for us. Like we cannot afford that much of render time. So we always try to explore new ways to how to reduce render time and how to cut out some of the things and here and there and something like that. So for that, around that period of time, a guy named Clement released this PBR version of Blender, and it was like mind-blowing. That totally changes everything. Like we have made a little short film in that version to check whether whether that was right time to switch or not. So can you move the audio? Yeah. So this was very quick production. That branch has its own pros and cons, and some features like cascade shadows were awesome, while on the other hand, reflections were not working that great. AO was not that great. Best part for this is it was skinned on top of old Blender, so we didn't have to learn much. We just opened that branch and we learned the new features. Just that. Nothing much was changed in that. So render time for this movie was like 2 to 3 seconds per frame. So that was awesome. And but still, that was not the right time to switch. So the movie is on YouTube, so you can watch it there. I'm just skipping for now. So thank you. So after that, in very early stage of 2.8, we tried it again. It was not production friendly at all. Take a cube and crash. Delete a cube and crash. So like every other click, there was a crash. So, but we wanted to try that out. So we made this little shot in that. It's a very minimalistic design and it has very few textures. Depth separation was done by using transparent planes in the background because depth of field was not that great. It was not working well. The major issue with this branch was armature support was not there. So what we did, we baked every single object's actions from 7.9 as a shape keys and then brought it back to 2.8. each, if so the issue was, if you want to change anything, like single bit of, like if we want to change a blink of character, then we have to do that same everything, every process again and again. So that was the issue. This shot was rendered 11 times in a day. And render time was around 10 to 20 seconds per frame. So this was, again, a bit of extra step towards the future. After that, after some period of time, Blender got armatures. I don't know how to explain that, but there's some kind of module called copy on write thing. Cow, yes. So that got enabled at that period of time, and then Blender got armature support. So at that time, we tried it again to check whether we can switch it or not. So we make another shot at that time, and it was much simpler. It was done in 2 to 3 days, but this time the issue was like particles were not working. So we had to do the same thing, go back to 7.9, bake everything in that, bring back to 2.8. But in the end, it looks great. Just have a look. Can you please raise the voice? Thank you. So that was again 2 to 3 seconds of render time, but it has lots of issues like shadows were flickering, jitter was not going away, and lots of things. So after making all these films, we already don't want to go back to 7.9, but that was not the right time. So in recent weeks, Blender got some amazing updates. And like in terms of Eevee, they changed a lot of things. Like Clemon had made some major improvements in that. So we have released a poster of Pukka on 14th of October. And on that date, we have only characters ready. We haven't done anything yet. We only had characters. So I didn't even know at that time that we were going to complete it or not, but we wanted to present it here, so we had to do that. So it was completed just 6 days ago before our flight. So just let's have a look.
Olmaysa. Caketsi bizi. Vendile verir çür. Açayım açayım. Ha? Çal. Ay. Ay. Böyle bile sahur. 더 맞게 더 하기도 하고도.
So, thank you. So that's what we did in last 20 days. It was a hell of a job, like, yes, even for us. So we died making that film. Entire CG production was done by 3 people, me, Neil, and Nita. And we had 2 guys for music, Satish Solanki and Pratik Joshi. My morning was every day like I woke up, I go to computer, I open IRC, I find developers there, and I tell them all the issues every morning from last 20 days. It was not talking, it was more like complaining. So, but thanks to all the awesome developers, without their help, we couldn't pull it off. So thank you so much, guys, for making software awesome. For the first time, we have tried animating hairs, cloths, belts, and entire background, which you just saw, was animated. So previously, this was not possible in any other renderer. Like, we have to check, after animating backgrounds, we have to check and render it. So with Eevee, it's just a press of a button, like go in the shading mode and check whether your animation was right or wrong. So we didn't have to worry about that. So I was worried about the rig. Rig was a little bit complex than the basic stuff. So it has all these features. His mouth can go anywhere. His eyes can rotate anywhere. And it's a mixture of like lattices and constraints and booleans, and everything was there. So I was not sure that this is gonna work in 2.8. And for the feathers, it's simulated. all the feathers, and then we baked it over bones. So that was something new and never expected to work in 2.8, but surprisingly it did work. So, so that was great. So same thing goes with the other characters rig. All the other tribal characters made from single character, and for the hair, I guess Andy released a video month ago regarding hair rigging. That was with lattice. So we used the same approach, and we rigged hair of that photographer character. So you can take a look, like you can put anywhere. I never expected to do this work on 2.8. Yes. So that's it for like rigging. And storyboard was a bit simple. A scribble, roughly done scribbles. Not much detail because we didn't have much time to do that, so we just did something like this. And it's not final, but it's easy to convey what we want to say. So we did just something like that. Yes. And for the lighting and compositing part, that's how we did something back in 2.79 to get the depth and to get the feeling of mist and overlays in mist. And like it was a little bit longer process. We have to render frames, and then we have to go to compositor and to check that whether it's working, colors are right or wrong, and if something goes wrong, then we have to render it again. So that's a longer process, but in Eevee, it's just a click of a button, and you can just check the volumetrics there. So you can check that in video. Yes, that's a scene file. Yes, just turn on the volumetrics, and you can see the fog lights and everything is in there. I saw many videos on Eevee that people are making like only using bloom and fog and volumetrics in a very dark scenes. But it can be used something like that also in a brighter scene, and where you can get a beautiful depth. So that's the one thing. And so what now? We are still using, we are still making use of Blender Internal in like daily basis. We are still using it, and we are doing a small productions in Blender Internal. Like there's one series of animations that we released on YouTube called Kiddo Kitty. Yes, that was done in Blender Internal, and we want to switch into this entire production into Eevee because it's a lot of stuff to do. So we want to get it done faster. So, and the major issue was like right now in our pipeline, we have made many add-ons like asset managements and file managements and all the stuff, but which is not working yet in 2.8. So eagerly waiting for beta release, and hopefully then everything will work fine. And so lastly, I'd like to thank you, Tom, and all the developers and who makes this software more awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Yes.